covered the opening ceremony of the Democrats' political campaign, and we would like to talk with the state senators here, and let's see how they come with the new agenda for the election.
Yes, Springfield's a perfect place to have it. It's where we had our campaign office 4 years ago, near just a couple of blocks from here. Springfield is the heart of the district. The district goes from Alexandria all the way up to the Manassas area in Prince William, and this is sort of centrally located for all of that. And I think Springfield is also great because it has a great mix and diversity of people. And this district has great richness and diversity. It's one of 2 districts in the whole state that's over 10% Asian American, over 10% African American, and over 10% Hispanic. So we have great diversity, and it's my pleasure to represent that kind of district. Actually, we'll be doing some of it today. I was actually out going door to door in part of the district right near here in Springfield, just before coming over to the office opening here, and we'll be going back out after the office opening. I think the key to being able to represent voters well is to be able to talk to them one-on-one and connect with them personally. And I do that every year, whether I'm running or not, because it helps me do a good job representing the people, because I understand what their concerns are. Well, the elections this year in 2011, and then in 2012 we'll be taking office for the next term, and hopefully I'll be starting my second term. There's up for my first re-election this year. My agenda is, I like to deal with a lot of issues, and my agenda is to represent the people of Northern Virginia, the people of Alexandria, Fairfax, and Prince William well. And I like to do it from a fashion where I'm representing the wide diversity we have in our district, both in terms of racial, ethnic backgrounds, those types of things, but also the perspectives. I listen very well to people, and it helps me do a good job being able to represent the whole district. What I'm hearing people say right now is we have huge problems with transportation. That's our responsibility at the state level. We're not taking care of it. We need to tackle that issue and come up with something that solves our transportation problem. The economy is sort of the second issue, and I got some jobs legislation passed that will be particularly helpful just this past year, but we need to do more of that. And then the third area is to make sure we maintain our fiscal responsibility. We're the only state in the country that's had a AAA bond rating since the 1930s. Actually, this year was a very successful year for me. I was one of only 2 legislators in the whole General Assembly to get 20 bills passed. I got a wide variety of bills passed this year. Some of it was for the job creation that I talked about, that will be able to attract more companies to come to Northern Virginia that have been going to Maryland and North Carolina. I also got legislation passed that just went into effect that will allow victims of abuse or threats of abuse from someone who's not in their family, often it's a young woman with an ex-boyfriend who's threatening her, to be able to get protective orders, to be able to provide more protection for them. That will provide safety and security for a lot of people. We got some legislation passed to protect recipients of life insurance benefits when a loved one dies unexpectedly. Some of them are being manipulated. We got some protections there. So a whole host of things like that we got done. Well, what I've seen on the polls thus far suggests that he's running ahead of most of the Republicans, but it's a long ways on that election. So we'll have to see. I mean, we're still 16 months out from that election. For my election, it's only 4 months, and even that seems like a long way. So I wouldn't speculate on what's going to happen 16 months from now.
Who determines the policy in terms of the future will be determined by who is elected to the State House of Delegates and the State Senate. And I personally think that we ought to stop beating up on immigrants, but realize that diversity is one of our strengths, bringing in people who are willing to work hard to pave a better future for their children. Is something we ought to be looking forward to. That's what America's all about. I also think that not only do you need to balance your budget, you need to invest in education and transportation and in the future. That's what the people running for office that were featured here intend to do. President Obama will be reelected. Not only has he been a good president, but he's far more competent and responsible than any of the Republicans that want to run against him.
And what agenda you are carrying with yourself for the 2012 election?
I want an inclusive society, a forward-looking budget that invests in its people, protects the environment, ensures that we have physical infrastructure that's competitive with the rest of the world in the 21st century. And most important, it has the kind of investment in education and research and development that keeps pace with what's happening in the rest of the world. That's what will create jobs. You have to invest in order to reap dividends in the future.
So what are your ways to reach out to the voters?
I'm reaching out to the voters every day. I have town hall meetings constantly. I not only entertain people coming into my office, but I reach out through the telephone, through the internet, and physically. I'm every place around the district, so that's why I stay in touch with the people.
Well, this is the kickoff for our campaign. Of course, the date for election is November the 8th, and this is a joint campaign headquarters that I'm sharing with Supervisor Jeff McKay, Springfield District Supervisor, Senator George Barker, and Delegate Mark Sickles. So all of us are sharing space, and we're also sharing resources, not just with each other, but with other Democratic challengers and Democratic candidates. I think that this is a significant sign of how closely and how much the Democrats are going to be working together to leverage all of our resources and to run successful campaigns and to support each other. It's going to be a great year. Well, the choice of our location here in Springfield, first of all, it's a very central location, right off of the mixing bowl, the Beltway. You can see under construction right now a lot of transportation. The hot lanes, the mixing bowl has just been completed. And so you're starting to see some improvements in transportation. This is also an epicenter here in Springfield for revitalization, which is one of Fairfax County's major priorities, to revitalize, redevelop areas of the county that are older. And you have an example here in Springfield of the Springfield Mall, where Fairfax County has passed a new comprehensive plan and have passed the zoning, and we're just waiting for the private sector to be ready to break ground and for us to start to see a transformation of land use and some new vitality being breathed into the Springfield area. So this is a great location, a real example of things that are happening county-wide, things that are positive, and things that our members of the General Assembly and the Board of Supervisors have made happen. Fairfax County and in fact the nation has just gone through some very difficult years. This has been the most serious economic downturn in most of our lifetimes. And in Fairfax County, I think that we have navigated our way responsibly through these difficult years. We've managed to reduce budgets. We've managed to find savings. We've worked with our partners in the General Assembly as well as our partners in Congress. The stimulus funding has been of benefit to Fairfax County for the completion of the Fairfax County Parkway, for instance. But using all of those partnerships, using all of those tools, I think that we have done an outstanding job of maintaining an excellent school system, getting some transportation improvements underway and completed, and also making sure that we are a safe community. So if you look at the difficulty that we have managed to overcome during the past years, I think that we have a really, really good story to tell. The goal is to essentially not take our eye off the ball, to make sure that we continue the positive momentum. I mentioned revitalization, and revitalization in Fairfax County, redevelopment of our older commercial areas and our older residential areas is going to be critical as we grow into the future. And doing so in a way where we take advantage of the private sector, the nonprofit community, as partners in making positive change happen. So it's important that we build upon the successful efforts of the past, which have proven to be successful. So The transformation of Tyson's Corner, while that's not here in the Springfield area, is another major redevelopment opportunity. We have rail being constructed through the Tyson's Corner area, and it will go all the way to Dulles Airport, where we are doing a transportation study of the Richmond Highway Corridor, a transit study, to see what kind of transit we can build in the South County part of the county. So there are a lot of major things that we would like to see continue into our future. To continue the positive direction that we've been going in, making sure that we're building on the excellent efforts that have happened over the past years.
What message you want to give? What message this campaign want to give to the public?
I would say that we have a very positive message to give to the public. Fairfax County and Northern Virginia has provided, I think, an excellent example of how we can overcome an economic downturn in a positive way, engaging our community, working with the private sector and the business community to make sure that we are maintaining the quality of life that we care about, and keeping taxes affordable for our residents and for our businesses. That's the message that I would like to give.